Technological advancements are improving our way of life on almost every dimension. From streaming movies to requesting on-demand transportation to getting real-time directions and finding your friends. Connectivity-driven technology is now synonymous with life experiences, every day and now on vacation. Many similar advancements are available on your cruise ship, including MedallionNet, the best Wi-Fi at sea. MedallionNet lets you stream movies, shows, and sports, as well as make Wi-Fi phone calls and video conference calls like FaceTime. That's all possible in large part thanks to what lies on board, what flies in the skies above, and the way we fuse all the technology together to ensure your experience is as great as possible. This includes simultaneously accessing multiple satellites in different orbits so that we can 1. Minimize the distance from the ship to the satellite to ensure your connection speed is maximized, and 2. Minimize the impacts of weather and large geographic features so that your connection is reliable. Here's a little bit of the physics behind the best Wi-Fi at sea. First, the fundamentals. Speed equals distance divided by time. If your destination is 100 miles away, and you travel at a rate of 100 miles per hour, you will arrive at your destination 1 hour later. But if you travel at the same speed, 100 miles per hour, and you only need to go a quarter of the distance, or 25 miles, it only takes 1/4 of the time. Likewise, the closer the satellites are to Earth, the less time it takes for the data to travel. Because the distance is shorter. This is a key MedallionNet difference. MedallionNet always uses the closest satellites possible to our ship. And just for fun, radio waves travel at the speed of light, or 670 million miles per hour. MedallionNet uses mid-Earth orbit satellites, or MEO, that are positioned 8,000 kilometers away, or 4,800 miles above the Earth's surface. At that distance, it only takes 0.2 of a second for your mobile device to communicate from the ship to the satellite. That's fast. It is fast. In fact, it's 3 times faster than traditional GEO satellites, short for geosynchronous, which are in high Earth orbit, 36,000 kilometers or 22,000 miles away. Traditionally, the vast majority of cruise ships have accessed GEO satellites. And while that higher altitude has meant broader coverage, it's also meant slower connection speeds. Here's another interesting fact. The first GEO satellite, SYNCOM-2, was launched by NASA from Cape Canaveral on July 26, 1963. 50 years later, in 2013, SES Networks created the first MEO satellites, serving cruise ships, and now just 6 years later, there are 20 MEO satellites surrounding the equator that see our Medallion-class ships when they are south of 50 degrees latitude, which aligns with destinations like London and Vancouver, and which corresponds to approximately 80% of Earth's surface. However, this is a cruise ship, and cruise guests love to travel to the ends of the Earth. So what about the other 20%? GEO satellites actually still reign supreme when enabling connectivity in the polar regions. This is because GEO is not impacted by rain and weather. Whereas there's nothing more stunning than the spectacular beauty of the summer months in the northern latitudes. The weather is more dynamic there than in the perpetually sunny Caribbean and Mediterranean. So onboard Princess Cruises ships that feature MedallionNet, we leverage MEO and GEO satellites to keep you connected to the things you love most, and seamlessly shift to GEO when in the north. Thanks, GEO. In these tougher conditions, we're glad you're there. Yes, pages will take a second longer to load, but they will load in any weather condition. So let's switch from meteorology to geology. In northern latitudes, the ships themselves are dwarfed by the massive geographic features you come to see, like mountains, glaciers, and fjords. While gorgeous, these impressive wonders really mess with satellite reception. Whether MEO satellites or GEO satellites, the satellite beams cannot pass through physical geographic features. So with MedallionNet, we do everything possible to ensure the satellite can see the ship, including adding a second GEO satellite into our model, as well as focusing on ship positioning to ensure we get the best look angles possible. When it's impossible to avoid geographical feature interruptions and MedallionNet service becomes interrupted, we will do our best to advise you prior to the outage. There's a map on Ocean View TV that outlines known interruption areas, and if an outage does occur, we hope you'll grab your camera and take a few photos of the impressive natural wonder that's likely causing the interruption. To summarize, when this ship sails in places like the Caribbean or Mediterranean, we link to MEO satellites, and your device is able to link much faster because the signal travels over a shorter distance. When we sail closer to the poles, we tap GEO satellites, which means it will take just a bit longer for the data to flow. When we will have geographic feature interruption, we will let you know. Our passion in sharing the secrets behind the best Wi-Fi at sea is for you to know that we will do everything possible to provide you with the best connectivity experience possible. We appreciate you sailing with us, and with more satellite capacity than many of the cities you'll be visiting along the way, and more antennas than any other cruise ships in the world, looking at the most satellites possible, we know that you're going to love MedallionNet.